Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a profound set of teachings that completely redefine the boundaries between our physical lives and our spiritual existence. We're going to explore the hidden dimensions of what it means to be human, challenging how we view our identity, our biology, and really, our ultimate place in the universe. And to kick things off, we're starting with a pretty haunting question. What is the name of your soul? Think about it. In our day-to-day physical world, you might be known as a doctor, a professor, a king, or maybe a CEO. You've got a name, an address, a title, and you've probably worked incredibly hard for your education and status, right? But the teachings we're looking at today contrast these hard-earned physical titles with your nameless spiritual existence. Like, does your soul actually carry your university degree into the vastness of the universe? No way. To unpack this duality, the source material uses this fascinating, kind of provocative metaphor. It compares our existence to a wife and a mistress. So the wife represents our physical body. That's the side of us that gathers titles, cooks, cleans, and stays fully awake in the physical world. The mistress, on the other hand, well, that represents the soul. The soul is nameless. It's completely unburdened by physical degrees, and it operates on this massive, universal scale while the body is asleep. The text emphasizes that those physical labels you hustle for as the wife, they literally have zero value in the universal dimension of the mistress. Because, let's face it, the physical dimension is all about labels. The source points out how we constantly surround ourselves with the markers of a successful physical life. We're talking expensive cars, fancy houses, university degrees that someone paid top dollar for. We build our entire identity around these physical constructs, firmly anchoring ourselves in this tangible realm. But here's the kicker, and this is a crucial realization from the text. You become Mrs. Nobody the second you close your eyes. It's absolutely essential to understand this. The teachings emphasize that the moment your head hits the pillow at night, all those physical titles, they just evaporate. Your physical body stays trapped, literally stuck to the sheets of your bed, while your soul, the mistress, goes out to play in the vastness of creation. All those worldly achievements suddenly mean absolutely nothing. Section 1, the hunter and gatherer. Okay, so there's this hidden, highly symbiotic relationship between the body and the soul, like a dance of the hunter and the gatherer. In the physical world, your body acts as a gatherer. When you eat, you probably think you're just feeding your stomach, right? But the text suggests you're actually gathering specific spectrums of carbon and nutrients required to mature the soul. Then, in return, while you pretend to be asleep, your soul acts as a hunter in the universe. It houses universal energy and brings it all the way back home to feed every single cell of your physical body. It's this beautiful two-way traffic of energy. And the text makes a really fascinating, if a bit unconventional, claim here. It states that Russian scientists have actually tracked the path of the soul the exact moment it leaves the physical body. According to the source, they've observed it rocketing through space like a shooting star or a flash of light. Now, they haven't yet traced exactly where it goes once it leaves our atmosphere, but the observation itself is wild. But here's where these teachings completely diverge from conventional thought. While modern science usually waits for the end of life to even think about studying the soul, the source proposes that this profound energy exchange, this nightly journey of the soul, happens every single time you go to sleep. It's an ongoing two-way traffic of energy that modern science has completely overlooked. Section 2. The magnetism of creation. Now prepare to have your preconceived notions totally challenged. The text claims that the traditional story of human creation, the whole biological race where the strongest sperm swims to victory to fertilize the egg, is actually a complete fallacy of the physical mind. The source basically calls that idea absurd and proposes an entirely different mechanism. Actually, scratch that old biology lesson. The text defines this incredibly elegant alternative theory called plasma polarity. It explains that the soul is exactly like a plasma magnet, or a star. It has a highly specific polarity. So the union between an egg and a sperm, it's not an accident of speed or physical force at all. It is a magnetic decision made by the souls of the parents. As the source notes, you can't attract wood to an iron magnet. You can't just barge your way into existence. You have to be attracted into it by a precise match of soul strength. Because the soul acts as a plasma magnet, this decision is made way before the physical process even starts. And since this is a soul-level contract, the text suggests that physical deceptions, like, say, hiding an affair, are entirely transparent to the universe. The souls involved have already set the pattern. That means any physical-level deceit is just wide open for all souls in the universe to see. There are no secrets at the soul level. Section 3. The ethos of Mitra. Which brings us to the futuristic concept of the children of Mitra. The text outlines the characteristics of a completely new era of humanity. By learning to nourish the soul directly through universal fields, we actually end the primitive need to kill or destroy other living things for food. The children of Mitra are described as these perfect beings, born completely without the attachments, revenges, or guilts of the physical dimension. They are graduated right at birth, living in a state where their thoughts, words, and actions are perfectly, seamlessly aligned. To support this new era, the text outlines a massive proposition for societal change. It suggests that tools like a universal currency, referred to in the text as Keshe Foundation coins, could provide this absolute lap of luxury and availability for children from the exact second they're born. The whole idea is that if you don't make the ground fertile for crime, like if parents never need to steal or stress just to provide for their child, you completely eliminate the physical temptations that lead the soul into wrongdoing in the first place. And that is the ultimate goal of the ethos of Mithra. The teaching suggests that when humanity finally learns to respect both dimensions and truly nourish the soul, we finally transcend our destructive nature. There'd be no more leaders shaking hands on the news while killing officially through war, and absolutely no more killing hidden either. We just move beyond the primitive need to destroy entirely. Section 4. Travelers of the Stars. The source paints this incredibly powerful picture here, asking a really poignant question: are we merely walking the earth with a zombie? Basically, a purely physical vessel completely unaware of the universal community watching us? For way too long, the text argues, we've been mere bystanders, watching the fish tank of the universe from behind a thick glass wall, all because we've forgotten our dual nature. So the question is, are we ready to stop playing hide and seek? So what does this all mean? Ultimately, the overarching goal of this whole dual existence is alignment. The absolute greatest payoff happens when the emotion of your physicality, the wife, and the emotion of your soul, the mistress, finally become the exact same thing. As the text beautifully puts it, you find your way to transmission in every dimension of the universe. Achieving this perfect alignment completely transforms us. We're no longer trapped to the sheets of our physical beds or stuck watching from behind that glass wall. We evolve from being mere bystanders into true travelers of the stars, operating fully and consciously in both dimensions. It's a real game changer. Which brings us to a final lingering thought for you. Based on everything we've dug into in this explainer today, who will you be the next time your head hits the pillow? Will you cling to the titles, the cars, and the physical degrees that just evaporate in the dark? Or will you prepare to hand over to the soul, finally understanding your true place in the vastness of the universe? It's a fascinating question to chew on tonight. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and keep questioning the dimensions around you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 643rd Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, May 21st, 2026. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation, Spaceship Institute, Education Department, and part of the public teachings in English. My name's Rick Cram, and I'll be host once again in this weekly continuous series of workshops ongoing for well over a decade. And once again, we have the opportunity to listen to Mr. Mehran Keshe as our main presenter and teacher here today. Please go ahead, Mr. Keshe.
Thank you very much. Good morning, good day to you. As usual, wherever and whenever you listen to this series of knowledge seekers from Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. As usual, we welcome you back to the wives and the mistresses, as we heard in the intro. There is a question to ask, and there is a question to put to you. If you go back over the teachings of past decade or so, I always said that we teach the humans through the teaching and the voice, and what we teach through the soul is heard by the soul of the universe. This education for all, as other citizens of this universe are not here, but they are connected through the soul. So this is why we call universal teachers. But this brings you a very big dilemma. Now that you know, while you're listening through the ear of the man, the soul is getting taught the same thing. So this time, the knowledge is the husband who shares both things between both sides. Nothing is hidden. But one thing becomes very interesting for you lot. When you go to sleep, when the mistress plays, where does she go? Most probably, most of you have had a dream, and the same people, the same scenario, the same type of line of place or person comes back into your dream, maybe next night. You put your head up and put it back down again. You go for a drink and come back to bed, and the dream follows. Or a few years later, oh, I remember I had this dream connection or whatever. Or you have a dream about mom and dad or grandpa, and you put it down as part of the memory, but this is where the soul goes. So why this happens? Does it mean that the mistress has already found his home? Does the mistress goes every night to the same house, does not need to be on the streets to meet the lover, to be the part of the creation? Does this mean that the husband leaves the wife in bed, opens the door and goes to the house where the mistress lives? Not on the streets, it's next door, or it's a couple of doors down the road, and so on. Or makes a trip, I'm going for a business meeting in another city, same destination, same house. What does this mean? This means that the soul of the man, during the rapid cycles of sleep every 24 hours, does not, as we say, prostitute itself across the universe. It pays a visit makes contact to where the final point of destination will be when the wife does not want to move anymore and say goodbye to the dimension of physicality. Which means these dreams, these processes of I had a dream is paying visit or paying homage to where the soul will be at the final point when the physicality goes. So in a way, you do not become a homeless somewhere in the universe. You have already made home. You know where you go. You see you are degraded to nothing with the crimes you've done, or you see the brighter lights of the Creator. You don't just get up and go. Maybe sometimes you have to, but you test a lifetime. You build that nest the way the bird does, stick by stick. Every night the wife goes to sleep, you put another brick on the place where you're going to be. But this house you're building in a position in the universe is sitting on a boat on the river of the field of the universe, and depending on your conduct, it flies and swims up the river because it's stronger to the source, or down the river from the source, away from the Creator. You never get up and go suddenly unless it's important or something accidentally happens. Then you say, what happened when you die in a car crash? What happened to the soul? The soul has already got his address, he knows where he's going, but the rest of the things which the other souls think, he was invited for dinner with the family in the position of the new house somewhere in the universe, and will not come back because the food was too good. You as human call it an accident, but the soul already knew has to go. He was invited for lunch. Then you understand your destiny is not accidental. It's all planned by the soul. And like a puppet on a string, your physicality follows. I was raped, I had an affair, I had a child. You think the souls have not set you up for it? Then start thinking. Accidents as part of the work of the souls, where man has no knowledge of. You don't get up and go suddenly unless it's emergency, or when you go try to move to another city, you go and see the place first. Is it good? Can I buy a house here where the children go to school and everything else? So does the same with soul does when you put the physicality to bed. It's building a nest, it knows where it is. Now you understand. What do you call accidental? What do you call gradual death, old age? Is all planned, is part of the structure. Saying goodbye, putting the last stick into the nest and the last feather that is soft and cushy, you know where you're going. So when we hear that Russian scientists confirm they can follow, and they have followed the departure of the soul from physicality into space, it's the first time we put a spy on the husband to see where the mistress lives. And in the future, knowledge will follow. We'll see the knowledge of the man and the knowledge gathered by the universal community will show you where is your new home. You've already been building the nest, not telling the wife where it'll be because you're taking the husband with you. You become the next creation of the life. Now you understand how it is and how it works. We sometimes plan it through the old age, gradual, building the nest, or accidentally we have emergency exit, we call it an accident, the guy died in an accident, the car hit him. The soul has already been agreed because the guy who got killed in an accident read his background. What happens to the future generation? What happened to the mother and the father? What happened to who created where he worked? What position in the souls in the physical dimension changes that brings what you call, in your human language, punishment for those who left, but in fact the souls already agreed. Now you understand how blind man has been to the reality of the soul, and how sometimes we call it accident and sometimes we call it natural death, because the soul of physicality has already feathered up with the soul to the new nest. It's not accidental, and it's like a rocket. You shoot it up, you know it's destined for moon. It's destined for its destination. In one of my talks, explained this in a very simple way that you all understand. When I became aware of the Belgian government planning my death and execution and whatever assassination, I didn't wait. They came to, and they played the game to warn me that I'm next to be killed the day in the lunchtime, when I didn't know that my partner was a spy and it was all an act to frighten me. Packed the suitcases, 3 suitcases in the back of the car, the dog, the child, and the wife, escaped as high a speed I could overnight in the dark into Italy, where I already seen the house 3 weeks before when I gave a conference there. I said, it's a nice hotel to be in. This is the death, accidental death, vanished from the environment of Belgium and manifested in Italy, as many of you knowledge seekers remember. This is accidental death, where you have no choice. But the plan was bigger. At that time, I wasn't aware that even the voice on the phone telling me getting beaten up and the rest was all an act. It's just the time to move. And then again, you Italian friends, remember, we stayed in the Sansano for a couple of years, and then we moved down south to Bari. I didn't just pack up the same way as I came to Italy overnight with a dog and wife. We made visits. Giovanni tingled that it's so beautiful to live in the south. We paid a visit once, twice, 3 times. We found a nest and then we moved. That's a natural death. Then you see, accident wasn't an accident. It was set up by voice recording on the phone, and then the other one was deliberate by enticements of the beauty of the south of Italy. Now you understand. You are in the same position. Others set the scene for you to be dying in a car accident, or you deliberately choose. I've been there every night, nice time actually, to move to the new husband and find a place, not to be a mistress, but to become the wife. Another star in the depth of the universe, that as the mistress and the husband, I create a new generation of children, call it planet, call it universes. Now you understand how simply you've been fooled by yourself in respect to what your life is and how you have lived this double life. It's very simple when you explain it in a childish language, doesn't it? Then you decide, why do I need a mistress? Where I can become mistress myself, where I accept the both dimensions, and then I can plan both. In the life of man has created something very interesting, which you call it the loop of infinity, the figure 8. What you, as what I call knowledge seekers and humanity, are very used to it. What do you do? If you look I try to draw you something very, very interesting, which allows me to, my God, they change this thing every day. Let's do it on the screen that you as knowledge seeker see. This is the loop of infinity. Hey. Every time we use man's technology, we run into problem with man. Okay, let's see if I can get you right. Do you see me? Oh,
We can
yes.
see an image now starting.
Yeah, okay. This is the soul of you as a baby, and this is your soul of physicality. This we call it your soul S, and this we call the soul of physicality. Because physicality is a spread, but the soul in the childhood stage becomes that size. Gradually, in the process of life, somewhere, the two become more or less equal. And then the soul of man, the soul of physicality becomes bigger. And the soul of the man, being more powerful, becomes smaller. And then, when the field balance between the two gets to a point that there is no more of, this becomes the point of saturation, the point of departure, because here is too small. It doesn't become the point of balance. The physicality has consumed too much and has gathered too much fields, energies of the earthly size strength. This is the time when the mistress departs, point of death. This is why it's so powerful. Remember the law of plasma, not the law of the man. The strength counts, not the size. In a way, by consuming more of the physicality, we push, give energy, allow the soul to become strong enough to find its destiny. Depart. And this is where the shooting star is and where it will land in the universe. Now, man has to learn about this point of communication between the two. This point of departure. We can, exactly like the reptiles, where they cut their tail and they grow it again, decide the time of departure between the two. We can pre-plan it to the second. Man used to have the same power. If you were the original animals, like the reptiles we see, that they can shed their tails and move on, shed their skin and grow again, we had the same abilities. We were one of them. We just didn't born as men. We were the fish, we became the reptiles, we grew and became what we call man today. We had the ability that if our tail or our leg or our arm trapped by a stone, to just shed it off, move on, I can make another one. But we lost that. The only thing is left from us, from that memory, is they say we shed our skin every 28 days. If you can shed a few cells, you can shed the whole arms. You just risen, blocked, erased that thing from your genetic cycle. And the reason for it is very simple. When you don't have an arm, when you don't have a leg, somebody look after you. You become attention seeker. Do you look at the people on the street which they walk normal like you in the suit and the fancy dress? No. You all have 2 legs and 2 arms. You look at the guy who's paraplegic, doesn't have arms or legs, or they don't work. They get your attention. So man lost the ability because of getting the attention, but we still shed the skin. Still the same process, no difference. It's just that we never understood. We replace ourselves every regular time. 1 year, 10 years. So what? We used to change the whole leg. You jumped, you broke a leg, stood there for 5 minutes, and then healed itself. And in the next 2 months, it grew back. Doesn't happen to little reptiles. Didn't you play with those when you were little? You take the tail off, it doesn't come off. Next time you touch a tail, it drops off because the animal decided where. That time wasn't the time. This is the same process. Soul of physicality and the physicality and the soul of soul of physicality and physicality decide when to shed the soul off. Bye-bye, goodbye, go to your destiny where you build a nest. Now you understand the science of creation. The souls did not forget how they can tail off the soul. The soul of physicality, the way it used to do with its physicality, does the same thing with its soul. Knows the fields when to say goodbye. It's exactly when the animal knows when to say goodbye to the tail and when the snake sheds its skin. It's just man has never understood the reality. Now it's there in front of you. You can decide when to shed the skin and grow bigger, find a new place, or stick to it and suffer with it. Then you can do everything if you understand this. If you understand the knowledge, you have to bring the emotion of the physicality and emotion of the soul of the man to be at that joint, at that point. And then if you remember in past few teachings I told you, I know the time I go. It's all preset. You are not aware of the knowledge. We are. We are the timekeepers. We know, we understand. When I tell you, I know the time, the place, and the position that I leave this dimension of physicality because I agreed on it. I'll be here for a long time. Being here for a long time, you called every name on this planet to the same soul. I just changed the frog. One day with the turban on the head, and one day bare skin on the ground, and one day another shame in the mountains. But it's the same soul. And when we leave, we already know the time, the place. You are not aware of it. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Now you are aware of it. You can time it, you can place it, but you have to understand it to be able to do. You cannot drive a car when you don't know the car has an engine and a key when to turn it on. It has a gearbox and it has nowadays thinking and thoughts of itself. You talk to it and takes you to the destination. Now you understand when I explain, we know our time, we know our place, because we know what fields and we know what nest we made and where we have to go. But our nest is open to all those who are in the dimension of the fields of the universe, and to the man is a mystery and he talks riddles. That I'm not the only one. Your soul already knows its time, place, and position. To be there when the grandchild born, but not be there when the daughter dies, that does not face the suffering. If you think he suddenly died, You're so mistaken, because the same thing as you denied your soul, if you could have made connection and understand the work of your dimension of energy and physicality, you know exactly when you're leaving. It's not accidental. When you walk and see the guy getting crushed on the car or falls off the cliff, the physicality is just a mere disposing of the dimension of attachment. The souls have already know, because the guy was adulterous and the wife has to know, and then the mistress appears at the funeral and the rest of it to settle the scores, to balance the books. Now you understand. It's not the matter of transmutation or transportation. It's understanding where the mistress, why he can transmute and I cannot, because I did not understand I'm the mistress myself. One day, one of you ladies came to see me and says, I have a problem with my husband. He has a lover and I don't understand. But she didn't know that I know she was playing out as well. I said, Madame, don't you play with the guy? Now you complain about him playing. But I didn't do that because he did, I went. I said, darling, you're both playing behind each other's back. And both of you know who you are playing with. He's aware of your boyfriend and you're aware of his mistress. This is the story of the new Shah of Iran. He plays publicly and the wife does. And they both know and the world says, oh, amazing. That's a game which is played in the universe between you and your soul and denial of its existence while you're aware of its existence. Public display or denial, but knowing that it's there, is your choice. And the only person who can bring the dimension of the connection to each other and live and know that, okay, I put my head down, we go and see Grandma in Planet Zeus. You can decide your dream, and you haven't learned yet. You can decide, okay, today I went to Dad for lunch, and tonight I prearrange go to see the mom who died 10 years ago in Planet Dung Dung, where we already have a restaurant we can meet. And tonight you wake up the next and say, oh, I had a dream of the mom. You didn't have a dream of the mom. You already made an appointment. I had lunch physically with Dad, and I have dinner with Mom, most probably breakfast, because in the dimension of universe there is no breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and I meet Mom. You decide your dream, and then you understand, you decide the emotion. Next time you put your head on the pillow, not I decide, like the Italian guy, if you remember in the lecture room, I told him to move a cup and he was going, I said, you haven't learned how to talk to the cup. The cup will move if it sees brings you joy. Find a way. I want to see Mom tonight. And the pleasures that it gives you to see Mom. And then you learn you control the mistress through the emotion of love you have and desire to see Mom. Start practicing. And then you understand, you even know when it's the time to say goodbye. And what it means to be detached. Then is it what to commit a crime? Spend the day crime, let's spend a week without any wrong thinking, doing and acting, and then you start seeing how close you get. They say fast, and then your body purifies. Stop committing crime, and you find connection to your soul. No deception, no lies, no cheating, no killing, and then you find out it was so easy. It was me who was putting the barriers up and blaming the others. You fast not to eat. You fast not to commit wrong, and then you find your soul, and then you become aware of when you go and what to do, and where you're playing tonight. Gradually, you find out living the life of Mitra by the ethos of Mitra is the only solution for man to find connection between the physicality and the soul of the man, one emotion, because it's the emotion which carries you from the physicality dimension of energy. It's the catalyst. I showed you this in the dimension of gas production. You put the copper and you collect in the same pot, creating the right environment. The gas is the energy of the copper. There is no difference between your solid state of physicality and changing to energy. You looked at my technology the wrong way. It's the story of your life. The only thing you haven't learned is how to change that gas back to copper, which I showed you in Beijing exactly a year ago. I made materials, created the fields that it manifested itself as a matter on the table. So now you know how to do. I played law of physics for you to understand the law of the soul. Clever teachers, aren't we? You're infant players when it comes to work as masters. We don't use the trick. We inform you to see the trick, to understand how you trick yourself, not us. Now you understand how you have deprived your own existence of the knowledge of existence of your, what we call creation of energy. You can think, oh, I call the mother, and the phone rings, and the mother was on the other line. The emotion was so pure. The soul wanted as much as the physicality wanted, and you don't call. The soul of the mother is aware and picks the phone and calls. Oh, Mom, I just wanted to call you to tell you, and you called. Your soul told the number much faster than you did. Now you understand the game played. You decide the destiny, the place and time, and your soul has already decided. You might play a little bit longer, and you call it the extension of life. By eating properly, exercising properly, you can live another 10 years extra. Look what it means, exercising. Look what it means, eating the right food, as you call it, and see why the dimension of the physicality takes a little bit longer to load up to create that spot when the soul lives. Many times, many times I sat and I've met people and they have cancer. Or they have a disease, the doctor told them, 1 month, 2 years. I don't want to die, I just had a grandchild and the rest of it. And I said to myself, you fools, why are you crying to take one more breath and to suffer? If you knew you could talk to your soul and get rid of everything within the suffering of physicality, choose the time and the place. You done wrong with it, so it does its job, and you call it the suffering. Why does humanity has opened all these hospitals to live 1 second longer? We go on the machine, even we are physically immobile. We keep the machine going for 1 more heartbeat because we haven't understood that we control that heartbeat and we enjoy suffering for what we got the others to suffer while we were in the dimension of physicality. Now you understand the pattern of your life. Now you understand, you can even know the seconds you are moving to the new house and you hand the key over to the new tenants to take over the flesh and the blood of the man. enjoy your trip, understand your life. And once you understood that, live by the ethos of Mitra, you will create the children of Mitra, you live the life of Mitra, and you become part of the energy of the universe. Don't forget, the soul of Mitra came from the soul of the Creator. Now, when you create the children of Mitra in the space of the universe, they know where to go to see the Father, as there is no dimension of restriction of the physicalities. Position of the stars and galaxies is the separation of the soul of the Creator in dimensions of existence. But in fact, every soul sits within the soul of the Creator. Even the Creator is on the journey of souls in the dimension, vast dimension of the Unicos. We go for a break and we come back. And I hope you enjoyed understanding your own weaknesses, your own lack of understanding of your own creation. The way you shed the skin every 28 days, you can separate the soul every 50, 60, 100 years, but be part of that soul to manifest in a dimension, place, and position as Moses, Christ, Muhammad, and the rest. But it's the same soul. We are the teachers. Nothing is hidden. We are those who you call messengers. We go for a break and we come back. Enjoy your trip. And remember what you have to do with yourself tonight to know your own mistress that you denied existed. Take us for a break, please.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Kesh. Okay, we will have a break here in our 643rd Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, May 21st, 2026. For today's break, we're going to have, I'm going to play the video of the summary of the 642nd Knowledge Seekers Workshop, which will be another AI-generated summary similar to our intro video, which we saw today, which was also put together by Ed. And that was one format. And this video, based on the same workshop, will be a different format. So we'd like to get people's opinions on these two types of formats and which you might prefer or which might be better for one instance and better for a different situation and so on, just to get some feedback on them. So I'll play it now. It's a similar length, about 9 minutes. And yeah, if you can put some feedback to type into the chat or the Q&A or put a hand up at the end, that would be great.
You have a name, a dress, a house, and a title. In this physical dimension, you might be known as a doctor, a professor, or a king. You have worked hard for your education, perhaps driven an expensive car, and surrounded yourself with the labels of a successful life. But have you ever paused to ask yourself a single haunting question? What is the name of your mistress? You see, the physical body, the wife, spends its days cooking, cleaning, and gathering professional degrees. But your soul, the mistress, exists in a dimension where those labels have zero value. The moment you put your head down on the pillow at night, your titles evaporate. You become Mrs. Nobody the second you close your eyes. It is a profound mystery that when the soul is free, it does not carry your professional title, your home address, or your university degree into the span of the universe. While your physical body remains trapped, stuck to the sheets of your bed, your soul goes out to play in the vastness of creation. For many, this reality is frustrating because we have been trained to only see the zombie walking on the earth, unaware that the universal community is watching our soul's journey. We often live as bystanders, watching the fish tank of the universe from behind a glass wall, because we have forgotten that we live in two dimensions at once. This relationship between the body and the soul is a hidden dance of hunter and gatherer. In the physical world, you eat and gather different spectrums of carbon and nutrients, thinking you are just feeding your stomach. In reality, that biological process allows the body to gather the specific factors needed to mature the soul. In return, while you pretend to be asleep, your soul acts as a hunter in the universe, housing universal energy and bringing it home to feed every single cell of your physical body. This is a two-way traffic of energy that most of modern science has completely overlooked. Scientific researchers have recently tracked the soul rocketing through space like a shooting star the moment it leaves the physical body, yet they have not yet traced where it goes once it leaves our atmosphere. Think about the way you were taught about your own creation. You were told a story of a race, a competition, where the strongest sperm swims to victory. But this is a fallacy of the physical mind. The truth is far more elegant. The soul is exactly like a plasma magnet or a star. It has a specific polarity. The union between an egg and a sperm is not an accident of speed, but a magnetic decision made by the souls of the parents. The soul of the mother has already found its match and set the pattern for life before the physical process even begins. You cannot barge your way into existence. You are attracted into it by a match of soul strength. We are now moving toward a new era of technology that finally respects this duality. We are moving away from old systems that only fed the physicality and toward technologies that nourish the soul directly through universal fields. When we learn to nourish the soul, we can feed the cells of the body without the need to kill or destroy other living things for food. This transition allows us to finally live by the ethos of Mitra, a state of perfection where your thoughts, your words, and your acts are one. In this life, there is no more killing officially or killing hidden. You no longer need to commit crimes or live in fear because you are born into a lap of luxury provided by the understanding of the soul's true power. The children of Mitra are the future of humanity, representing souls that have no attachment to the guilts or revenges of the physical dimension. They are designed to be perfect, graduated at the point of birth, and untouched by the wrongdoing of the physicality. This is the path we are all invited to walk, to stop playing the game of hide and seek and to realize that we possess nothing and yet understand everything. The ultimate payoff of this knowledge is that when the emotion of your physicality and the emotion of your soul finally become the same, you find your way to transmission in every dimension of the universe. You are no longer just a bystander. You are a traveler of the stars. Thank you for your time. I hope this has given you some insight into our future life.
Okay, hope you enjoyed that summary from the last Knowledge Seekers workshop, brought to you by Ed, who's been working with his AI to develop these videos. So if you have any preference or any comments, you can put them in the chat or the Q&A. And I'm also wondering, of course, what Mr. Kesh thinks about these.
This is all nice. As you know, one of the big companies recently made a city with different AIs from different groups, from Google, Apple, and the rest, and monitored how each AI handles the situation in the city. They call it the AI city. It's a very complex test which is carrying on and is going on. They want to see how the robots will behave, how the systems behave when the AI takes over everything. And even some AIs now have made the decision. Some people have to be eliminated because they don't fit into the structure of the AI city, which means they plan the annihilation of races and groups and the rest of it, because how they interact with each other is very interesting. We have to be open to all possibilities and understand everything. This was a nice presentation of, we get opinion from Americans and Chinese. Now we get opinion from different aspects from the same AI with a slightly different pattern of layout of knowledge. As usual, we are ready to move what we call the space city is taking shape beautifully, step by step. We added one more section to the research part. Now is two, more or less three people have taken their positions and their work in the research. Third one is halfway between two countries, hopefully. But we see now this research center, according to what you offer us, what you put on the table, which is good, and we can develop further, take shapes. As I said, the new research center, hopefully, when we accept it fully, has 40 research centers, rooms, laboratories. The present research center, we have a lot of rooms. 3 rooms are occupied. You can be the fourth one. You can be the next one. We provide all the facilities. And as I said, one of our knowledge seekers is very cushily setting his lab and his room is well set for him. The other one has just seen it moving in, hopefully soon. And one has already will be joined to structure, hopefully between two, not being a knowledge seekers, but becoming a knowledge seekers through contact with the foundation. We have a few spare rooms in this present structure. And if your offer, if your knowledge, if your development is attractive and what I call looks good to develop, we are prepared to give you a room in the research center. I'm receiving a lot of offers, a lot of good things, a lot of nonsenses, but it's good to you, it's nonsense to us, because it doesn't make sense for us to repeat what we already have and wasting more time on it. We received a number of inputs, people, knowledge seekers who have contacts, who can test things themselves, and once we go through the completion, you take another room, another office, another section of the Keshe Foundation Research Space Center. By the end of the year, we hope to have at least a couple of hundred research rooms available for you, knowledge seekers, to take a position temporarily or permanently as part of the space city, which is getting built very nicely gradually in China. In so many ways, the Keshe knowledge seekers are working so hard. The hardest one was to fill in the first one. And he's sitting there cushioned, he's hearing us, and he knows every effort is made to make life comfortable for him. And the second one has just moved, seen what he needs to do, and The third one is already said. One took position long before we took over the lab, and he locked it up and he walked away and he went on until he comes back. So in a way, 4 of the research rooms are already locked up. Come up with a proposal which is not behind us, not below us, or something we already passed, but something which brings prosperity to humanity and brings us to be part of, then we talk. I receive a lot of proposals. Keep on coming, but it has to be practical, it has to be realistic. It has to be something that is not just a thought. You have done something and we can back it to what we call test it and go ahead. I already know a fifth one without getting more or less involved in that test myself directly. And if it works, another knowledge seekers will take a seat in the research center of the Space City, of their own, of course, of their own ability and what they can bring. Nothing is too small, and we are not prejudiced about color, race, religion, language, or whatever. The center is becoming a language translation center. You want Germans, you want English, you want Chinese. Any language you come in, you can't speak, we get it translated to the language we understand. So keep on sending us your, what I call outputs, your inputs. This week we have looked at about 3 or 4 and already start collaboration, see what it is. If you can evaluate it before we go through the expenditure, you're quite welcome in to join us. If there are any questions, let us know and we'll see how we can develop it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kesh. Let me see, we have a question from Stefania, not the usual Stefania, but a different one in the webinar chat here, who says, "Dear Mr. Kesh, thank you for all the knowledge I have gained from you. Regarding the ONN network on land and the ocean units, how do our individual MAGRAV systems, both our biological fields and our devices, integrate with the global network to stabilize the land? Furthermore, as we approach the specific planetary alignments, will this ONN system facilitate the direct communication between our souls and the Earth's core? What should we prepare for during that specific peak of the Great Transition? Thank you."
At the moment, what we call development, the Keshe Foundation, ONNs, has 2 sides. One is development of the hardware and the programs, and one is the development of the what we call the Keshe Foundation side, the space technology side. And as we see the K8s, what we call 8Ks of the units which you have, and then we have a master unit, which is the control ones. I see a rapid need, especially in the past couple of weeks, with the new AR chips which are coming to market to protect these. And this has become another obstacle, another position to consider on the physical side of the system. And the development of the what I call, we looked at it last week, those are involved, what we call universal spherical aerials, which we can transmit from the same unit everything we need, which means not only receives information and passes on the energy from the apple to juice and whatever, it is simultaneously to everyone on this planet and beyond in the universe. One of our knowledge seekers, as I'm speaking, is connected to a system and measuring things in the background. I keep on getting the graphs. It's not just I teach here. The system is getting tested on knowledge seekers in the background, how the new structure will work and what we need to do with it. So instead of what I call, if you remember the old systems, you had a post and it was something on, and BBC used to go boom beep and it goes spherical all the way around. This is a reality of today. We not only developing, this development delays us maybe by a few weeks, but it'll be embedded in the boxes and sticking outside the boxes. And what this means is that this can transmit to you all vitamin C, adjust the system internally with all the organs around the world. You receive vitamin K. We see the emotion of a nation going towards conflict. We can set the system that it changes the emotion. Developing it is not very hard. It's a hardware. We know how to develop it. Part of it is already developed. And then this allows us to feed you, enlighten you, open the knowledge of the universe to every soul. And this is part of the work which is getting done now. Then we can control or be part of, because you carry, those of you who bought these cosmic ray balls, you all have a specific soul. You haven't bought it just because you bought it. This collection of these is what are called cosmic ray balls, which will be connected to other one ends, is like what we call the satellites. It connects, it brings in, and allows us to connect with the dimension of physicality. The machine holds the dimension of the communication and transmission. You people with the cosmic ray balls in your hands or in your system, you are the one who decide the rhythm of the universe. You're the rhythm of the humanity. And not common people bought this. Any of you who bought these cosmic balls, if you bought it with a pure intention of changing, not yourself, elevating yourself, you are a special people, and you are connected to one another. Your pure emotions will set the scene for the rest of the humanity. You do not know what I did with you, but you're exactly where I want you to be. When it connects to man's condition, through this, what we call cosmic rays, we connect your souls to the system. And then you understand when it works, and then you understand you carry the emotion of peace. It will become the fingerprint of the one ends. Same material, same process, same understanding. And gradually we build it up. My worry is that how long will it be before our mechanical side, or we call human side, computers team will bring that we can test. When we do the first test, which was supposed to be on last Thursday or last Friday, then we see a bigger picture. And then we'll see how we can do it. One of my ideas is to drop a few of these ONOs with the new satellite, what we call universal antennas, deep in the seas, and see how we change the animals. We have a very, very specific situation which has risen, is out of the work of the knowledge seekers, that in the next few weeks, hopefully, for the first time, we can monitor the effect of the field and what I want to transfer to a live animal to see if we can change it. I did this test originally in Ghana with the fishery ministry, where we could see the suffering of the fish in the net, and we changed it. I want to know now if we can change the physical changes inside the body of the, fish, to see if we can remove cancer agents directly by consumption, which then becomes part of the work for us, that we can transmit what we call the fields through the body of the man. There's no need for anyone to have cancer, because the air of the fields you breathe, connected through cosmic ray balls and their own ends, does not create a condition of cancer. Technology is very advanced, but partially we have to understand, our team has to understand the work of, the potential of, and then implication of. And then, do you need to kill? Do you need to be hungry? You're in a submarine, you get fed. You are on a plane in the skies, you get fed. You're on the moon, you get fed. As I said, every penny we spend in research and development, and we don't lock funds in fancy things unless it's necessary for certain positions, but everything spent to bring man and humanity to a position of luxury, of living through the soul and not physicality. So if you are looking what it does, the ONNs do and the Magravs do, gradually we teach you, because the technology is advanced enough, and especially with the space city coming up in a very nice way, very slowly, built by the true knowledge seekers. If you knew what knowledge seekers are doing in this city, there is no clock, there is no 9-to-5 job, there is 24-hour job. They wake up with and they sleep with, and 24 hours a day. Every aspect of the city is getting set up step by step, step by step. We holding, controlling what we call the food, then the water, then everything else which goes with, then the knowledge, and then the space city in beautiful Chinese cities will become one of the space centers of the universe. Not just because the cars fly off the ground, it teaches even the cars how to fly off the ground. It's the beauty of what is to come. But US time, we have to educate the knowledge seekers and those who become knowledge seekers to understand our ethos. And we have to see. Any other?
That's a great concept, Mr. Kesh. Thank you.
It's taking shape. It's not a concept anymore. Something very interesting happened to us in the space city. We brought another knowledge seeker, somebody who was expert in his job. And he accidentally stayed with another knowledge seeker, which we brought in the same house. He saw how the knowledge seekers was doing things, and he added up to his knowledge because he was an expert in his work. And then after a few weeks, he says, I'm going back, I can't stay here. This is not the place for me to be. And he left me a message. I'll be back with you within 2 months. I thought the guy came in just, he taught us a lot. He brought a lot of his expertise with us. And 2 months exactly to his word, he came and says, Mr. Kesh, I become a knowledge seeker. I learned from the knowledge seekers in China. I put my knowledge, I came back to my country, I tested it, and it's amazing. Even the scientists I talked to, says this is a dream, this is not reality. He says, I'm a knowledge seeker, I want to be part of it. And he's one of the first joint venture, what I call a spin-off of the Keshe Foundation. The guy who had no knowledge now is more devoted to spread the knowledge through his technology. This is how it works. We create the next generation by testing, and people testing it, enjoying it. And it's amazing. It's the first spin-off when it came out of another knowledge seeker, but the expert who came, got touched by the knowledge, living with other knowledge seekers, and the things I get from him in past 48 hours is like a child being given a toy and a lover who's found the love he was looking for. And he's doing amazing things. And when you even see the first videos, partially it's because of him. But you understand, knowledge touches those who understand it. And we've seen it firsthand. And we see it now in the centers and build up. In the space city, we are making sure that nobody is left out. if your technology, if you what you think, it's a thought to you, or we see a value into it that it needs to be expanded, as a few of you know already spoken to me offline, or you're in touch with me, that we value all opinions because we are there to serve. We have no limitation. We have no profit line. And it's amazing how things take shape. It's amazing how things take shape, and it's taking shape. And I thank the CEOs of the Keshe Foundation operation. They're working day and night, and the knowledge seekers who are there supporting them inside and outside. Any other questions?
Yes, indeed. We have a couple of hands up here with Azar and Francisca. Azar, if you'd like to go first, please.
Good morning, Mr. Keshe. Good morning, Rick.
Where are we this time of the day? Which
I
part of the universe have we landed today?
think it's like my dreams. I'm in Europe now. I have a few questions regarding dreams. If I understood correctly, if in the dream it shows our destination after we die, where we're gonna land, and I have dreams that the way the environment is, the clothing, even a lot of my dreams, you are in it. And then, like one of my dreams, you were an old man and you were wearing a robe, and I was like 14, 15 years old girl. And I was sitting on the floor, it was in a square, and I was listening to you. And then I was in love with the teaching, and I was talking to my parents because you were traveler, you were teaching and traveling, and I want to follow you. And I had an argument with my parents. They wouldn't allow me, and I was running after you, and I felt like lost you in the market, and I was in distress. And then suddenly I woke up and I said, oh my God, it was a dream. And I had many dreams that in all my dreams you were a teacher. So, and then I have dreams that mostly in present time, but different environment, different clothing. And sometimes my dreams are very futuristic. Like I had a dream 2 nights ago, there was this big staircase, it was a wide staircase, very shallow, but they were all white that you couldn't see the end of the staircase. But there was a book there, the book was as tall as I was. And they told me I have to pass a test. And then I was looking at it and I actually lay down. You remember when we were kids, we used to lay down on our belly and do our homework. I lay down on it. I told the guy, I don't see anything on this book. How can I pass the test? I cannot read. He says, look. As I was looking at the book, the words appeared in light. As I passed by the book, as I passed the line, the words disappeared. And then I look up and I said, but I don't know the answer. And I was very agitated why I don't know the answer. And when I woke up, I was so happy. I said, oh my God, I didn't pass the test. So I have a lot of dreams. I'm taking a test. And then, so if this is it shows my destiny, where I'm going to be. So it means I can go back to 200 years ago, or I can go to the future. So which one is it?
You decide. I wasn't there in your dream.
So, but also when you are in my dream,
the problem with you, lot, is you have, hundreds of dreams every night. You should see what I receive. I don't know which one where I was.
But why is it I decide you are in my dream or you are in my dream?
You decide. You invite. We can't intrude.
Oh, I invite.
We don't make borders. It's you who make the borders.
But if, for example, you were sleeping with your wife, does your journey at night include the soul together, or you have independent journey as your soul?
Depends. We tested this in Linz. We asked a French couple, to stay in 2 different units, and then stay in the same unit, if I remember correctly. And then we asked them to go to such a place. They were French. We asked them to go to Paris. I think they've never been there. But they both went to the same place. They both had the dreams because I spoke with them separately. And they both went to, I can't remember, Champs-Élysées or somewhere. They knew they were together. So we can't journey together in physicality and in reality because they were in one car, one of the units. So this has to be answered in the future destination of the technology and what comes up.
And also, Mr. Cash, if you end up in a room with a stranger and you two strangers are sleeping in a room, does one stranger affect the other stranger's dream? Or?
It's happened to me. Depends on the. It happened to me. It's by the way, it wasn't a woman. Don't worry about it. I had to take a flight from Manchester to Frankfurt for a conference, and it's a winter storm. We ended up somewhere in Hamburg, and they had to bus us down. And the what do you call? On the way, the weather was so bad that the airline decided that the bus will stay in one of the midway hotels on the motorway till the weather settles for a couple of days. And we just went to the front desk and said, sorry, all the rooms are taken. You're sleeping with another man in the room. It was very strange feeling. You're sleeping with somebody that you don't even know. And it was one of these two, because they didn't have time to change. It was, two single beds next to each other, but each one separate. And it was a strange feeling. It was a laugh. We laughed a lot. And the guy says, you're snoring too much. I said, you kick too much. But it was a very strange thing. But did we go to the same place? Yeah, we ended up in Frankfurt together, but it was a laugh. At the beginning, they were all that tired. Like, God knows, it was a very important meeting in Frankfurt. So they're all, majority of the passengers were people going to this exhibition conference type thing, very poshy. Nobody talked on the plane. We were all bosses, and after a night and thingy in the bus, they all became friend type thing. Everybody knew about something about the other guy. It was very strange. Why don't we do the trips with a bus and actually getting these planes and becoming isolated?
So that person affected you when you slept with that guy at that room?
Most probably. I shared a solar room environment somewhere.
Okay.
It's very, very strange. It was a very strange experience. That time I called my wife. I said, I'm sleeping with a man tonight. And she was laughing. I said, no, I haven't changed. I have no choice. It's very strange. But yes, if we have the same destiny, yes, we can. We can decide where we go. Physically, we went to the park today. Tonight, we're going to see your grandma in dream who died 10 years ago because I love the grandma. We can do. It's just we deny the access ourselves.
So when I leave my body, can I decide who do I want to be on the other side with people I know now, or that's not a decision I can make for myself?
It's a decision you have to make by yourself. There are no borders in the universe. Man made the borders on this planet, houses, streets, nations, and everything else. There are no walls, there are no borders in the world of creation. Man is in touch and in contact. Something very beautiful. Sorry, but just something beautiful thing is happening, and it's a joy. If many of you know or not, the Chinese government and the Russian government have decided to bring down their borders. It has started. It's about 4,200 kilometers of borders. The reason they've done this is very amazing, but there's a lot of things sitting behind it. And I work with both nations in a different way. And I admire what President Xi has done and is doing, and Putin is playing the game because it gives him advantages. In a way, very soon, if this works out, there is no country called Russia between China, and there is no country called China. Borders of China comes all the way to Ukraine, and borders of Russia goes all the way to the Pacific Ocean, because they became one nation. if this works, it's the first time done, is part of the work of President Xi in the background, that making the Silk Road the way it was, we had no borders. People just walked. Oh, I'm in Afghanistan, I'm in whatever, I'm in China. Chinese are speaking people. We had no borders, we had no customs. And this is the first time ever done this. EU does this, but EU is still different government, different structures and everything else. This is the first time two superpowers are doing it. And this is actually nail in the coffin from the United States, because now China can move all the arms into the front line of Ukraine and wipe Ukraine out as part of the Russian structure. And we've seen this is the next step, as we saw with the Strait of Hormuz. The Americans blocked all the naval forces. Iran does not export any oil, but now Iran exports more oil through rail to China than ever did before. How about they are doing? The next step is Kazakhstan will come open border, and then Tajikistan and Iran. So the Silk Road, losing borders, becoming just a name on the map, is taking shape. And it's wonderful to see this, the set it up. If you look at the week before when Trump came to China and now Putin paying visit, it's totally different body language. It's totally different structure of leadership. There they come, we dictate, we want. Here we are all one, let's sit at the same table. And this will bring back long dream of no nationhood. We are Chinese from China, part of this planet, and we are Russians. And if this goes through the way it's going, keeping independence and taxes and everything else, which is the main concern from these governments, we have seen the change of taking the lines of the maps of the nations of the ground that man has been fighting for. And it's absolutely amazing. If this 4,200, and then we have 620 kilometers with Kazakhstan, which is the next step to it. They'll come in because Kazakhstan is heavily loaded with debts to China. They'll open it. And then we move down. There will be literally the Silk Road and no borders. You don't need to show passports. It's just that if you get a stop or you do something wrong in China and in Russia, you give your documents and you treat it according the same as the Chinese law. And it needs a lot of paperwork to complete, but the first stage has started. No borders. And I congratulate President Xi and Putin for starting at least the same. In EU, you have this, but still you have a problem of we have collectively to decide. This is totally one step further. We keep our structure, we decide, but we work as one. Now the sanctions on Russians become meaningless because the whole China can supply whatever they like. The same thing now has happened with Iran. And we'll see soon Tajikistan and Kazakhstan will open up as well borders, no border. And then it'll become amazing. We'll see the beginning of the process of the peace with demolishing the borders which we fought to protect so much. It's interesting. I called in a meeting yesterday with some diplomats. I said, now, Xi has become another Genghis Khan, but with the sword of peace. He's conquering, taking borders and making all one nation. But in a peaceful way. It's amazing what's taking shape. We don't need to kill to protect imaginary lines because the imaginary lines are not there. It's just that I collect taxes on my side, you collect taxes on your side. If you need help, if you need anything, I put it in. This was inevitable. The way the Ukrainian war pushed Putin to this was amazing because the only place he could sell his goods and all 80% of its exports was to China. So what was the use of it? Became part of Chinese structure. And now they've taken the walls down, and Kazakhstan is 80% in debt with China, and that's the next one will come down. And then we'll see with Tajikistan and Iran, here becomes the Silk Road without going back where my great grandfather used to. You can go right through Nobody knows which country you're in till you land and they give you Chinese food and you're in China. Any other question?
Thank you, Mr. Gish.
You're welcome. Hopefully we'll see you next time in New York or in Cancun or Tehran. You're becoming a traveler of the earth, huh?
Actually, I was thinking all the dreams I see with different people, different nationalities, different skin or different shape or form. It could be because of wherever I go, maybe. I'll be in Cancun shortly, soon.
Yeah, and then New York, and then God knows Tehran. You're the gypsy of the Keshe Foundation.
Yes, Gypsy, you can call me that.
Stay safe wherever you are.
Thank you, Mr. Cash. You too. Bye.
Bye. Any other question?
Yes, another hand up here with Francisca. Would you like to go ahead, please, Francisca?
Me?
Go ahead again.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you now. Go ahead.
Thank you very much for having me. I wanted to ask about this system you built, and what gives me faith in Mitra is that the free will of humans is respected mostly, but you say you change the emotions of people, and so I thought about which level of will do you change in the people when you
We
do it?
don't change. We make it available that it becomes enticing to be.
So I'm still free to choose.
Of course.
I have the fields and I can go in connection with the fields.
Of course.
Oh, okay.
You see, there is a link of availability, a link of denial.
Mm-hmm.
It's available. If you don't need it, you deny it. I can't force feed you. It's there. If you need it, is it the strength? You're not aware of it. Your field energy of the structure knows what is short of.
So it's sort of the soul level who decides what.
In a way, maybe in the next week teaching, I'll open a new door of knowledge that you understand exactly how it works.
Ah, wonderful. And one question I had about food. Once you said that there is some condition on Earth that makes it impossible to live just on frequencies. Can you change this with the system too? Because my idea is if lack disappears, if we do not have to eat, we really have the freedom to really live a good life. Because now I have to kill souls to live, sort of, every day.
You see, there is a fundamental problem with all the planetary systems which are tilted.
Mm-hmm.
The tilt creates what you call composite fields,
Mm-hmm.
and that composite field decides. For example, you have a warm weather in one place, cold weather in one place. You can see only, let's say, gold in one place, and you see silver in another place. We call it mining.
Yeah.
It's the same with the souls and how they can feed the physicality. In the what we call vertical structures, planetary system which go vertical, we see in the life of the creature a specific behavior.
Mm-hmm.
They are creatures living in planetary system that are vertical, which cuts into the direct access to the line of the fields of the source, which is their sun, create a, like condition in certain part of the world creates calm people, serene people, only creates black or white people. We have the same thing with the structure of the creatures of the vertical planetary system. We know it. When you see them, say, oh, they come from vertical side. We see at the same time creatures which are on the horizontal line rotation. They have a totally different behavior. You know, like you said, this is Chinese and this is African. The behavior-wise is exactly the same. When man becomes knowledgeable in the work of the universe, then it's like, oh, I've seen this black is from Africa, this is Chinese from China. You know which one is which one. And then our soul, our energies know how to deal with this. On Earth, because of the tilt of the Earth, it hasn't just created a complex weather, it has created complex physicality and complex souls.
That's nice also, but still it also makes us having to feed on
so yes
souls.
Yeah, different, we absorb different fields, so we make it available. It's, you know, you go to the supermarkets today, you have a dragon fruit from China, you have an apple from Europe, and then you see ananas and bananas from Africa or South America. And we choose what we want. This is a supermarket of the fields. You take what you need. Maybe in the dimension of the soul, maybe in the dimension of physicality. It's not there that you eat and you become fat because that's what you need. You take what you need, and your soul takes what your physicality needs.
But it still, as do these other plants and animals, they do not consent to being eaten, do they?
Actually, they accept to be.
Okay.
We accept to be. And they'll grow soon, nobody wants them, and there it becomes like India, cows travel, walk everywhere, and nobody says anything. They're cows, because nobody killed them. In America, we ranch them, we lock them up, and when you send an American to India, they go crazy. They see all these sticks moving and nobody touches it.
Yes.
You travel to certain countries which they don't do things, and you say, oh, you know what that tastes like. And I was in a trouble with some senior officers from the Chinese military generals a couple of years ago. And we spent a week in the mountains together, and you know, you make a friendship and the things. And they thought we were going to play a game on Meran. On the way back to Beijing, we were a convoy, and one convoy went ahead. And to arrange the food, that by the time we get there, the restaurant is set and everything else. When they knew where they're going, they were from the area, they knew what they're exactly doing. And I know the games. It was about 10 or 15 of us, a couple of 3 generals from Chinese military headquarters, there were a couple of their bodyguards, and all of us sitting there. The trend in China is you don't separate it, we all eat around the table. And me being clever, knowing I've been played these tricks by these guys before, because we had dinners and we had connections before. I said to them, what's on the table? I see different things. I said, no, it's all good. I said, no, this man doesn't eat. I want to know what's on the table. They structured it that I had no choice. I knew they were planning this for a couple of days. We're going to play a game. I looked at the top general on my right, on my left, and I said to him, what's on the table? He says, I don't know. We were in your group. They came ahead. They ordered. I looked at the kinky assistant of the second general. I said, you came ahead. What's on the table? He says, oh, these are all delicious. I said, I'm not eating. I walk out of the room if I don't know what's on it. There was ducktail. There was donkey, God knows, penis, and all sorts of things on the table. And I said, oh, can I have some boiled rice, please? In Chinese official dining set, when you eat officially.
Yeah.
And if the rice comes first, it means there is no alcohol. It's official meeting. If the rice doesn't appear or noodle doesn't appear at the beginning of the table, it means they can drink and talk and everything, but we're on the table. So I knew it's an official meeting, because we're all part of the Chinese Central Command together. And they said, oh, this one is lamb and that is beef. We wanted to know which one you like. The rice broke the code. So we can choose what we want to eat.
Yes.
The Chinese test me with a lot of things. I have very good friends in China. They still play tricks on you. And I was in Mongolia with Chinese guys. And the first day I woke up in the hotel, they were very apologetic that, this is a Mongolian breakfast, you might not like it. And we sat for the breakfast and I said, oh my God, this is my dream. Because Mongolia and Iran have a lot of common things. It was like me eating in Tehran. And I said, what? I said, I haven't had this for 20 years and this and that. And it just became, we choose. We choose. We choose what we want. And these things happen. We choose what we want. I can tell you a lot of things. I worked with one of the top guys in China, mining. And they wanted to use our technology. We did a lot of things with them, and he was famous for the food. Everybody wanted to go for it to his house, and he cooked it as a hot pot. And we got invited for this hot pot one day to his house, because we always met in restaurants for weeks and months, and I did a lot of work for the Chinese military through him. And they said, oh, he's invited you for a hot pot to his house, a beautiful house. We went in and they put a hot pot. I said, what is this thing that everybody wants to eat here? No, it's there. You eat it, you understand. And imagine what was it? And there was only one food on the table. Penis of sheep.
Okay.
You had no choice. You had no choice. There wasn't an option. And this guy was famous as aphrodisiac. And this is the part. We choose. Sometimes we are forced to, sometimes we don't.
Sometimes we chose earlier just to go there, and then this is the consequence that there's a point where we have to eat something, but you chose before to go to the house, didn't you? So this was the point of choice.
Yes. Yeah. When you see these official meetings on the television, presidents, every piece on the plate is pre-agreed to the dot. Nobody gets surprised, because a few times world leaders have been surprised by things on the table. So we choose, and it's our choice.
But in my dreams, I tried to learn lucid dreaming, because I thought if I can control my night, maybe I can be more aware of where my soul goes. But in my dreams, I often have really bad dreams with difficult situations, and I don't see that my soul.
You can choose. You can choose a lot of things, and you can decide on a lot of things. In physical life, the same as what I call it, in your state of sleep. If you accept our dream as part of us, as a reality which we deny, then it changes. You decide what you're going to dream and get good at it, not just because you say you can do it, but with sincerity of heart, you'll have that dream.
So you think it's good to learn to be
it's
aware?
Part of the transmutation.
Good.
It's part of the transmutation. A few knowledge seekers have reached that point, because I get communication from them. I see a few knowledge seekers are gradually going into that state. They're fully aware.
Because one night some months ago, I woke up in the middle of the night and some voice said, learn to be awake in your dreams. And since then I'm working on that.
Yeah, it's just we have to decide. For me, I don't know when I'm physically asleep or when I'm physically awake. For me, it's one 24-hour job, day and night.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing is, especially if you are at my age, I don't know which age I am now, but in the physical condition of today, you have to learn, especially when you pass 40, 50 years, when you wake up, stay in bed for a few minutes. If you get up, you sit at least for a few seconds before you actually get up.
Mm-hmm.
This is good for all the old people, anyone over 40, 50. Research has shown that the majority of the heart attack comes by our first behavior getting up from the bed. If you jump and go, there is no transition. If you learn, you wake up, spend a few seconds flat in bed, and when you sit on the bed, just a few seconds makes the difference between a heart attack that day and life. And it's very, very crucial. I do it every time. I never jump out of bed. Used to when I was young. But now everything has a time. I have time. Time is made for me.
Yes.
And if you are in your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, never jump out of the bed, especially first time in the morning. I always sit just a few seconds. The body needs to go to transition. That shock of jumping out becomes the cause of 90% of the heart attacks later on that day. It's proven because there's a lot of research done in Canada on this. I love Canadian research that they do the most absurd things and observe it for 10, 20, 30 years. They just don't finish with one PhD. It carries from one PhD to a postprofessorship and the rest, and it carries on. And the data, Canadian and some of the French universities brings out the most amazing data, long-term data observations.
Great.
Yeah. Americans are fast. The research is there. We commercialize it tomorrow, but there is no data to back. French and Canadians do long-term observations, especially some French do amazing things. We wouldn't know about MS if it wasn't so much because of the French. They observed the African, or what do you call, people who came from certain islands from South America, and they had no MS. But once they lived in France for a time and went back, and we see MS in them, then they found out how. But that was a 30-year research.
Yes.
So they found immigration and everything else. And Canadians do a lot of research. I love Canadian research. It's very in-depth. It's not money-making, gets to and go. And we see a lot when you look at these researchers, you look at the soul of the people, not just what's written on the paper. And this little 1 minute, I call it a ritual, is to don't sit up and run. Just take your time, a few seconds, just a few seconds. Dictates your life, and we never knew. But this research was completed years ago. And you learn how. But in a way, we look at the physical, but it's the way for soul handing over to the physicality. It disturbs the pattern. It's not just the physicality learning to wake up.
Yeah.
Just take the time. One, totally altogether, it's less than 30 seconds, 50 seconds. And it sets the whole thing for your life. It's like the same when you go past 50. Never take shower with over 30, 40, 42 degrees temperature. Hot shower first thing in the morning is a recipe for blood clot and heart attack and brain hemorrhage.
Okay. Wow.
These are little things you gradually add up and you learn. And you live by it. If you get an early morning, you have a shower the first 2 hours, never pass lukewarm, little bit warm, but hot water is a recipe for a stroke. Research has confirmed over years.
But not in the evening.
No, evening, not really, but morning the first 2 hours.
Oh, good.
These are little tips you learn, and little things you exercise and you test and you see. It's a pattern of life. It's not just advertising to, it's fashionable. Like never ever to use toothbrush. Those who use toothbrush, they're destined for all diseases.
Even if it's from India, Vedic.
What's in that paste is what your body rejects.
Okay, so only CO2 can.
No, even CO2. Even you have to understand what you do. The best thing you can do. I mean, I always taught my children, and if you're a member of my family, it was a ritual. It is a ritual. Every now and then, not essentially, the white cheese, you call it the goat cheese or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best toothpaste you ever have because it destroys all the enzymes which create cavity in the gum.
Okay.
You can even toothbrush with it. When you eat your cheese, you don't spit it. And the body doesn't go into the rejection. If this is a law of nature, what you use on your body, if you can eat it, is good for you. And the South Americans, they use avocado, I don't know, some God knows everything else to wash their hair and their body, and they eat it at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a law you live if you do that way. I don't see any need. Toothpaste and the thing was created to create illness. It was created. They knew exactly what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I was explaining to our agricultural research people, which we are developing in Space City, that do you know why we are using fertilizers? Do you know why we are using pesticides? Go back in the history and find out. There were no fertilizers. Fertilizers were pushed on humanity. Pesticides were pushed on humanity after the First and Second World War. Because they had so chemicals, the natural processes became obscene. They couldn't sell. So they created this and they banned the tradition. And now we have all the problems that we're trying to get rid of what was forced on us commercially.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is the same with our soul. We accept a lot of things which are not there, but it's the barriers we made for ourselves. Don't. If you use a toothbrush, make sure you can swallow it.
Mm-hmm.
If you spit it, you set up the chain for the next disease in your body, because what you spit out, the body spits out on the other end as the thinking coming in, and then you create deficiencies. And this is the law. If you understand the mechanism of life, it's the same with your soul. Find a way how to connect to your soul. You have to be honest with it. It has to be that the same as the food I don't want to eat. You can't force me. I want to see mom, but what have I done that the mom doesn't want to see me?
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Yes.
Not that, I want to die. The guy says I can decide whatever. Yeah, but what did you do with mom? You haven't seen mom for 40 years. She was looking out. Now, tonight, you want to test it? No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Set the table, invite mom, do your conduct, and see what annoyed mom for you not to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Understand? This is the game of life, not the game of what I want, I get. Money cannot buy.
No.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fish.
Thank you. Any other question?
Yes, we have another hand up here with Philippe, I believe. Allowed to talk. Go ahead. Can you open your microphone?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Morning, Mr. Cash.
Good morning.
My question today is related to one of the 5 cup system, the one for the vertical people. And at the bottom of this 5 cup, we have the cup of the soul of the planet. And I just wondering, and I just want to ask you, if you create a 5 cup at 2,000 meter high, and then we bring one of these fields to the ground level. Let's suppose one of the cup of the soul of the earth, and we bring that kind of field to the ground level. How this field can affect the vertical people?
Not much. You just adjust to it, but it carries the information from the 2,000 meter too. You have the combination, because once you took a fingerprint from 2,000, is in it. And you carry both. It's a combination of both. And what's on the ground floor, it doesn't need the 2,000 meter energy level. It doesn't work. You got to realize a lot of knowledge seekers made these vertical structures not really correct, especially the bottom one. The structure of the bottom one has to be in line with the central core of the earth. And it has to be done very precise, very correct. If you remember, if you came to Linz, there was 3 of them made by Herbert, especially you could go in the middle. If you stood in it, you could actually have different emotion in different levels in your body. But the trick with it was, all of you went there with the shoes. Those who did and took their shoes off and they stood on the same level without the isolation from the ground, you would have felt totally different. When you make these, what you call the vertical people, ganzers and the structures, you have to follow the same. If you have put wood underneath of it between the earth and them as your frame, you stand on the wood and then you feel the same thing in each level. You don't feel anything because, sorry, you're standing on a plastic shoe and on a metal. You understand?
Yes.
So when you do these things, just don't do it. Little touches makes huge differences. And then you feel the first level, second level, third level, even at the soul level. The one Herbert mentioned was amazing. I used to enjoy sneaking in there sometimes, but you have to take your shoes off. You understand? You absorb different fields with the shoes on. You change the game without you knowing. We saw this one years ago in a different way. We did the test with Annie in Canada. And nobody understood why.
How do we align this bottom cup? What is the procedure to do it?
There is no procedure. You have to understand what you made. You have to understand. Very soon, Keshe Foundation will test a new maggraph, which is exactly outside what you look, but inside is a powerhouse with a soul. We'll test it very soon. And then you will see how by changing compression, we change the emotion of the soul and physicality. It's getting tested, it's getting built, and then we learn from it. You see, if you look at this picture, which is there, I will never go in this unit. I tell you why. Open up this unit, the picture. On the left, you have bunch of ganses on the table. So the field is towards there. The other one is sticking to the wall, which has electricity, water, and everything else in it. The other one, it looks like sitting in front of a radiator, which has a diversity. You never matched to this. You just made something.
I think the problem was, this was actually from Herbert, but he had moved into a small place and needed to
I understand.
store all these.
Yeah, I understand this. This is when you do things, you made everything perfect, but you don't look at the environment. And then you cannot match. You see that plastic bottom layer? That makes a difference. If you stand on a board, you think you're standing there, and if you actually put the same plastic and stand on it, you replicate the same. Then you tune to what is needed. Your body might not need any of it. These are the things in the labs. I explain this quite a lot when we do tests. Observe. What is it? Put papers around, see what you're producing meters away in others' environments. This is, when you make these things, you have to understand the total structure. And it's not anymore a bucket, it's all the fields in the room. If you notice, some of you, especially Italians who came to Lens, the system is in the center, in the middle, spaced equally from either wall, that we replicate the same. And this is the problem with you don't understand, or you don't not understand, you don't take notice of the environment on the systems you make. When you came to Lens, if you remember, you went into the systems. That's everything was perfectly matched, symmetrical. Distance from the wall, back and the front, and everything else.
There's a lot of room around everything as well, both in the ceiling and inside each thing.
And that's how we could get near to it. I mean, you're Italian, you know what happened with the Italians and the Lens. One of you who was arrogant and selfish came in, I had to interview everyone, otherwise I destroy Keshwanish. He destroyed the Italian society, the community, because he couldn't interview. He was more important than knowledge. How it is going to, you remember who I'm talking about. He cost you arrogance and selfishness. One Italian cost you Italian a lot. And this is why we were trying to teach. And self-centeredness. You lost, you Italian, all lost because of one selfish, arrogant man.
Really, Mr. Cash, can you explain this situation, because this can be affect everybody on the planet, and then
Yeah, we had an Italian, what call it, calling himself the news people coming in and disturbing people in coming out of the unit. We told him you can't do that in second. These are confidential research. He said, I'm going to destroy your cash management. And we grew 10 times bigger, and the Italian lost. Italian community lost heavily because of his conduct. And so that's their problem. But this is how it works. You have to watch what you get in these pictures, and when you set things up. Every millimeter, every position counts, and how you mix your things counts. It's crucial to understand the environment than the system you make. It's not what in the front you put in between, it's what in the back taking out that it doesn't allow to come in. One of the worst places to put a system like this is near a radiator, a water flow. Because when the water flows in it, it continues to create diversity of energies taking from the system. So nothing is in the middle, is the same at any time. If you've got one against the wall and there is the light is on and the cables of the light go behind it, one time the light is on, one time switches off, they flicker, and you continuously change. You can't get stability of the test. It's good to make it, but realistically, you're in a roller coaster of fields. Thank you very much. Any other question?
Thank you, Mr. Cash. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, very good. We have a question from Dolores here in the webinar chat, who says in English, I've been teaching rebirthing breathwork for many years. During my sessions, I have witnessed beautiful spiritual and physical healings. One of the most beautiful was the healing of an ovarian tumor just a few days after the session. I have understood the power of breathing. Now I know that it is the miracle of cosmic rays. Thank you, Mr. Cash.
Breathing has a very direct effect on lymphs. This is why you see cancers change. Is not how you inject chemicals into the body or whatever, is how you change. It's the lymph which then becomes cancer cell, nothing else. And the lymph before it becomes a cell in the organ of the body of the man. And the world of science don't want to teach you this because then they can't sell you the chemicals. And your heart, if you go back into the medical teachings of years ago, I explained, which they don't tell you in the world of today because then they can't rob you of your whatever, is that your heart chamber, the 4 chambers, nothing to do all with the blood. 2 chambers are responsible for blood coming in and going. The pressure in the other 2 chambers of heart is to do with your lymph. When you do your blood pressure in the house, you get, let's say, 12/8 or 12/7 or 11/6. Let's say, oh, the lower one is showing when the heart is empty. Rubbish. The lower one shows you the state of your lymph pressure, how it is and what it is, and where the problem is. The higher one, it shows you what obstructions you have in your vessels, blood vessels. The lower one shows you what obstructions you have in your lymph. And you tell that to a doctor and he says, oh, stupid, guy doesn't, you have no clue, you directed people the wrong way. The science of the biology of the man has not understood. You want to understand what it is. Some of the knowledge seekers who work with me in the background know exactly what I'm talking about. You go today and test this for a week and then tell me next week what you see in the lower figure. And then we did what happens with the higher figure. When you block your limbs, your lymph circle, you increase your blood pressure because there is a shortage of right blood cells produced in the body. So lack of it creates pressure in the blood system. For me, when I look at the 12-8 blood pressure, I look at the 8, I don't look at the 12 because it's 8 who decides the 12. And 8 is the lymph, it shows the state of your wellness. And you can control it. You have to understand your body's lymph is dynamic in your physical body structure, not in your legs and your arms. You need to make the lymph active in legs and arms. You see your blood pressure, your health changes totally. But they don't teach you. They just give you chemicals. You want to see, you want to try and change your blood pressure, you change your wellness, you change your walking, you change your thinking. Lie down. I was teaching this to a couple of knowledge seekers in the past few days, past few weeks. Lie down on the floor with your flat back on the floor. Keep your buttocks something like 30, 40 centimeters, depends on the height of your legs. Keep your leg between 45 and 60 degrees against the wall, up. Put your hands straight on both sides of your body, nothing else. Then, this is nothing. You do it all the time. The limbs are floating down, but they don't get recycled. You don't need lymph therapy. That's all you need to do. But now this is nothing. You just can do it. Dogs put the legs up every day. But now the key to it, to clean up the lymph, that you will see even all the pains in your knees. You can't walk, you can't hop. Do this for a few weeks and see what it changes. Then, when you lie down, close your eyes and breathe very slowly 4 counts. Hold for 2 counts. And breathe out 6 to 8 counts. With the breathing in, you're pumping the lymph out of your body. With the breathing out, you're pushing the fresh lymph into your legs, where all the dead, what we call limbs are gathered. Gravity pulls them, that they're too heavy to go. And then you get the soul and legs and everything else because of this. And then do this for about 3-4 minutes. Make this ritual once a week. You don't need to do it too much. You just clean up. You don't wash yourself every day. You have a shower once a week. And then when you're done that for about 3-4 times, or 2-3 minutes, then at the same time, raise your arms the same way. Put a pillow. Don't hold your arms up 60 degrees. Put a pillow, put something, a chair, and rest your arms on the chair. And do the same thing again. In a way, you make yourself a pot. The body is the bottom of the pot, and you have your legs and your arms, or the same way, arms 67, 45, 60 degrees. And again, carry on with the same technique of breathing. You're taking the dead limbs, which are in your fingers and your lower arms and everything else, back into the circulation to come in and get disposed of through the cycles of the body. Then you've done that for about 2-3 minutes. Lay on your side against your liver. Your liver is up. That liver is free to process the dead lymphs and everything else. Then, half an hour later, take your blood pressure. You did nothing. You just cleaned up the limb. If you remember a few years ago in the teaching, I told you that walk with your heels, that you put your heels and then walk forward. This allows, if you do this before you do the lying down and putting your legs and arms up, put your toes on the ground and go back on your heels, like hitting your heels, stamping on the same position that you unlock your heels. You loosen all the that leaves sticking to your different skin, muscle tissue, and the rest. And secondly, you create a gravitational field force which triggers any surplus lymph or damaged lymphs or whatever in the structure of the brain and what you call the skull. It brings all those down, that when you turn your head up, when you're putting your arms up on the leg, it's like shaking a tree, getting rid of the dead leaves, and then go back in to do the, what they call your legs up job. Then tell me, do you have any more knee pains? Do you have any more joint pains? Do you feel like not hungry that much? They don't teach you. But then look at the bottom figure of your blood pressure. They don't teach you because they can't make money out of you. This is what we've been taught when we were people. And if you look at the, even if you look at the prayers, when you raise your hand up, it's part of the same ritual, cleaning up the limbs. See if you still have a problem with your joints, with your hip joint. Look at your mobility when you do this. Don't do it more than a couple of times a week, but make it as part of your life. And you don't need to do these stupid exercises, going on a track and making muscles. You actually destroy your muscles. And these are little things. You carry on, and you don't need to do all these medicines, high blood pressures, and the rest. You chew the body, you clean the body by yourself. This was known by our ancestors. They did it all their lives. Now it's become these fast tracks and lifting to build muscle, big muscle tissue. And look what happened when they stopped them going to the gym, because they didn't fix the bottom layers. We have 200 muscles. The top ones they fix, but the one which the top one built on is not fixed. And the one which actually runs the bottom one, which is your lymph, is now, it's all dirty. How can you drink from a dirty water and say, I'm okay? You need to clean up the lymph, and the blood pressure, lower blood pressure is a good indication. Usually between 7, 5 is a good indicator. And you see, when you do this, your blood pressure drops. You don't see those figures up to 14, 15, 16. Gradually comes down. But you have to watch what you do. Our ancestors perfected the technique of life, and some lived 200, 300, 400 years. It's just one thing, and it's a painless life. You don't need to have joint pain. And knowledge seekers who are with me, they say, I go to buildings to inspect or see 2, 3 flights of stairs. I just walk up, and they say, oh, well, I'm 70-year-old. Just because I keep a very good, I don't go on tracks, but I keep a track of life. I see youngsters next to me breathing. It's, you have to learn how to protect yourself, how to listen how your body works, not what they tell you it works because they can sell you product. Your breathing.
Sir. No, go ahead.
Your breathing, the way you breathe, in what position you breathe, decides what lymphs you do. One of the last things I ever do, I let no one to touch my lymph nodes and limbs. You crush it, you create a position for cancer. Why should I let them do that to me? Every part of the body has a method of lymph cleaning. You have to understand it, and you only when you create that position with your breathing, you bring it into action. And that's all you need to do. Then they tell you, oh, we took the tumor out, the cancer it reappeared, you got metastasis. When you have a rotten apple and you put it at the bottom of the box, you expect the box to be, the rest of the apples to be good. When a cancer cell in the lymph and it gets stuck in your toe or in the lower leg and you don't clean it, you expect it not to come up and doesn't rotten again later on when it comes down. We don't understand the physiology of the man. Then we try to do it with every chemical possible. But the body is not made of the utter muscles going for 10 minutes of walk and doing your heartbeat, whatever, yeah. But the muscle, outer muscles have inner muscles, and that inner muscle relies on what it comes to it to build itself that it can support the outer muscles. And that's your lymph. You have a infested system, it infests everything. You crouch, you bend, you can't walk. You have pain continuously because they said that if you have a knee problem, pain, do this process of lymph, what you call movement. It's not cleanup, it's not exercise. You just bring it into work, and then you see if the knee pain is still there. Because you gathered all the dead names which pressurize the nerves, and nerves restricts the motion, and that's all it is. I don't tell you miracles, just understand the physiology. I hate going to gyms and exercises, but I know I can go to gym and clear conditions for my lymphs to clear. That's all it does. The benefit comes. When you see these people pumping and pulling themselves up, you don't need to do that. Just hang from a bar. Do that. Just hang from a bar and follow the same breathing. The breathing controls your lymph. And then you see when you come off the bar, the guy is pumping like crazy. He gets himself damaged. You come off the bar hanging and you walk as, oh, I'm so fresh. I used to have a chiropractor in Kortrijk, and he always used to tell me, when the basement is damaged, rotten, you can't fix the top with the spines. When your ankle is out of order, and your bones of the foot are out of order, they move, and the rest of the structure moves to correct that move. You get a back pain, you get disc, you get neck pain, and the rest. The most important is to put the toes and the foot and the ankle right, and the rest will go correct. It's the same with your body. Correct the lymph, the inner tissues, the organs, the weaker, smaller muscles, and then the outer muscle stays fit. And then at the same time, when you breathe, it changes your soul because you control what goes in. And then becomes real light. It all one process. It's you who don't understand and separate it. You have wrist pain, you have what you call elbow pain. Lie down. Don't hold your hand. When you hold, you block muscles, you block lymph process. Get a chair, small stool that you put your hands on top of it, that is resting, and the channels are open, and then you literally pump it with your breathing. And then you see how the pains go. Do you need aspirin? Do you need paracetamol? Do you need heart condition medicine? Then go to the doctors. This is a physiology, how your body is made. Any other question?
Yes, we have a couple more here, Mr. Kesh. From Achilles in the Q&A, says, good day, Mr. Kesh. A friend of mine wants to ask. He currently eats almost no solid food, surviving only on milk and coffee. Although his weight hasn't changed much, he looks much thinner, and his cheeks especially have become quite gaunt. Is there any way to make himself look a bit fuller? Also, does drinking milk and coffee make his soul of the man unhappy? Thank you.
I never heard of this. I don't even know what to answer you. Never heard of this. Milk and coffee. I knew a guy, well-known artist in Northern Ireland. He lived on cola and chips, nothing else. 3 times, 4 times a day, a bag of chips and a cola, and he was as healthy as anything. And your body converts material to what it needs.
I think you've told the story about the man who just eats steak as well.
Yeah, what's his name? He does, doesn't it?
Is it Warren Buffett or
Warren Buffett? Yeah, Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett eats only burned steak every night in the same restaurant, same chair. But the body changes to what it needs. You have to understand how the body works and what you need to put in it to get what you want out of it. You can eat a steak every day, you can eat meat every day, you can eat pasta and meat and everything. I love Italian foods, eating. You sit a proper Italian food, it takes 2 hours. Everything is time. You eat Chinese, Japanese food system, it's the same. Separate it, allow it to absorb or do its job, and then the other you don't. But have you seen how thin Italian girls are, except their coffee in the morning? The Italians don't touch anything from breakfast to lunch, lunch to dinner. Nothing. And at night they have whatever. And even if it's the only country in the world you buy spaghetti holes. If you live in Italy, you buy like a desk and it has one size for 1 person, 2 person, 3 person, 4 person spaghetti. It's measured how much you have. And that's enough to be absorbed for what it is. And then you have antipasta, and then you have a pasta, what do you call it, a pasta, and you have the fish, and you have the meat, or whatever, the structure of the 5 meals in Italy. Why are they fat? Because they understood the order of eating and what the absorbs were. But Japanese do it totally opposite to Italian, and it still works. And you get as we mix everything on top of each other, and it still works. And we have to metabolism of our own body individually and work with it. But there's certain principles you have to follow. You have to make sure your blood vessels are clean. Any plank on it which next leads to constriction of the blood vessels is taken out. You create a condition of liquidity of the blood vessels doesn't thicken, and is eating a combination of foods in the right order. If you have blood clot and you have bits hanging on your blood vessels, exercise doesn't do it. It damages a scalp made on your inner skin. Exercise don't do. Running doesn't clean it. It's when you have a cut on your skin, you have a scalp. Does it go away by washing it? No, it's there. It sits in it. You have to understand how to extract it. Let the body extract it through natural processes. that it eats up into it, and then your blood pressure comes down. You have a blood pressure. Scientific research shows what we know as a high value walk with use of K2. K2 is the only K vitamin which actually grabs any, it's like, you get ants taking things away, internally takes the scabs, or what you call planks, out of the blood vessels, and it opens up as a cleaning system. But you have to know how you get it, how it comes with omega-3 in the body, and how it comes with other materials. And which omega-3? You have three types. You have omega-3 from the fish, you have omega-3 from plants, you have omega-3 from vegetables, and you have omega-3 from meat. You have to understand the combination of eating it. Not making fashion of it, making living of it, then you live a normal life. Long life in Japan and others has shown that is the free fish. Natural processed vegetables which carry a lot of omega-3 with K2 in it. The blood vessels never get stuck, doesn't put blood pressure, it doesn't create the wrong emotion, it creates calmness, and all it is, choice of food and how we do it. And at the moment, what our people in the villages get free, you go and pick up the egg in the farm, you pick up your lettuce and carrots from the ground, and we pay bio triple the price in the shop in a way, and it's more chemicals in it. You go into any supermarket in the West, you pay horrendous amount of money for what our villages, poor people get free. We pay their taxes. Something which has come up with the Keshe Foundation, you will see we delayed the promotion of Keshe Foundation products. Even today, the video is ready. I wanted to be changed. And I was talking to our sales team. We are not selling the thing. What I asked them to be, you will see most of in Chinese supermarkets very soon as the products hit the market, is that I asked that Keshe Foundation products, you got bio. We call our product Cosmo. That's all it is, cosmic product. And I asked them to ask the shops to put the product as a Cosmo exactly next to bio, with all the benefits, no chemical, nothing, but at the price of normal food. You Chinese, you will see our products in your shops in the coming days and weeks, and some will hit you very soon. Most of it's already bought. You will see Cosmo products instead of bio product next to each other. Cosmo products is much cleaner, has no additive, no fertilizer, because with the bio you still use manure, which the manure, if you use manure, which is vitamin or antibiotics given to the animal, you cannot control. The bios are the joke, but we put the Cosmo next to bio, and then we offer it the same price as a poor man can buy, as a rich man can buy, with all the advantages, exactly the way our grandfathers used to do it. This is where the Keshe Foundation technology hits the market. We are in it. We are not going to do it. All the things you see are the part of the Keshe Foundation agriculture, except one product which comes from a specific plant, which we spend a lot of money on it because it's a research center. The rest should be the same price, bio clean product. We have tens of square meters, thousands of square meters in process and coming up. You will see you don't need to pay huge prices for they even now have biocontamination. What is acceptable to be in bio? Nothing is accepted. We call it the Cosmo products, which come into the markets in the next 2 or 3 years. You see it's a Keshe Foundation product, and it's pure. And is the price where the poor man on the street can afford to live a healthy life. That's where our investment and research is going. That's where what you donate, you buy from us, we're investing in it. You'll see the product is already in the market in Chinese. Some Chinese are buying it. Our staff are eating it. So that will change people when, but the thing is, it has what I call the soul in the food. It changes your energy balance, because you will see very soon the Keshe Foundation Agriculture will promote Chinese herbs, which we grow. The same price as what you buy, maybe cheaper than what you buy in the market. But with the advantage that the Chinese herbs will have the power they had 100 years ago, 50 years ago, before the fertilizers and everything else comes in. We don't use any fertilizer. I can show you the video is ready, but I wasn't happy with the product, the final finish. Our team has to put in there the Cosmo product and promote it the right way, that it brings a new knowledge. We are not just teaching you, we are changing your life in a way through the research and development. Look in your shops in the coming up, look in internet, you look Cosmo products. It's a Keshe Foundation product which comes the cosmic rays, no nothing. We test bio, we find chemicals in it because it comes from antibiotics from the manure. Keshe Foundation is total, pure. And then you see how we're entering the game from the space city. First of all, Wuhan, Jindao, Beijing, and the rest of it. We set ourselves in the heart of the agricultural lands of China. And we treat people through the stomach. They feel the change, they feel the wealth, they feel the change and the purity of goods. Then you do the breathing, then you do the exercise, then you find why I was so far from myself. Any other question?
Quick question from Gail. She needs to get a picture or an idea of the foot and leg placement. When you were describing the exercise, she wasn't sure if to bend the knees or have straight legs.
Oh, everything has to be straight. You bend it, you break it. Let me see what I can do. This, what I tell you, is what I do myself. I don't tell you this is my way of doing it. You don't have to do it my way. It helps me, it keeps me, what do you call it, on my toe. The way it's done, or I'll put this over. These things are a disaster. If this is the wall, where is my pen? They make things so complicated. Let me try again. Whiteboard. If this is the wall, I'm such a good drawer, fantastic. And this is the floor. We used to have colors, now we don't get colors. Anyway, here black and white now. This is the leg, this is your body, and this is your arm. They have to be in the same angle. And everything has to be straight. That's why I said, if you have to hold your leg up or your arms up, you're not doing it. It needs a rest here. That there is no pressure. The limbs are open. 5 minutes, 2 or 3 times a week, or 3 times a month. You clean up. Measure your blood pressure. If you do it for 2 or 3 times, measure your blood pressure and look at the bottom line. If there is no change, there is a problem. There should be no pressure on this point. There should be no pressure on this point, because then it blocks. They come in and they get stuck here. It has to be a smooth transition with no pressure holding up. If you're holding up, sorry, you're already blocking with the muscle tissue. And then your breathing is important. Very slow, 4 times in. Give it 1 or 2 counts of holding for handing over to change. And 6 to 8 times blow out. Very slow. 5 minutes. There is one thing I have to tell you. Don't, when you lie on your side, which away from your liver shouldn't be under pressure, don't just get up and go. You'll find yourself dizzy because the brain is processing the energy. Give yourself a few minutes. If you suddenly get up, you see, you feel dizzy, you might even call what. This is because you don't allow limbs to settle in the position. It's the same when you sleep. When you sleep, where is it? I lost this thing again. Oh, they changed it this way. Sorry. Stop writing, you're blocking me. When you sleep, never sleep without a pillow. Sleeping without a pillow does not allow the liquid in the brain after 1 hour you sleep to drain out. Always sleep with a pillow with about 30-35 degree angle. This allows, when you sleep, the wasted liquid in the brain to come down to become part of your lymph. When you fly to sleep, you don't do it. The brain does not have that flow angle. It's a gravity. Very high pillow, it blocks. Very low pillow doesn't create. Around about 30-35 degrees is what you need for the position of draining the poisons from the brain. The body does it when you keep on bending and getting up. You do it slowly, but at night you can literally do a lot of things. It helps a lot with the emotion and the dream, what you call traveling to spaces, call it. And yeah.
Okay, thank you for that. I'm sure Gail appreciates it as well. Let me see a couple of other things here. From Vietnam, from Hugh Dian. Let me see, there's by Charlie Ha Long, there's 500 plus hotels here. The problem is cigarette and seafood smell in the rooms. It says, I use CO2 GANs and ZNO GANs and avocado extract. Please, what's the best percent CO2 and percent ZNO to clean a room in 30 minutes? Thank you, Mr. Cash.
Don't get in the room. That's the best thing. And there's a lot. You see, everything when you get into these hotel rooms, they say no smoking, but you can smell it. The guy has been there smoking his head off, leaving the window open. It doesn't work. And secondly, if you do these kind of things, you have to place it away from you, not where you sleep. You want to extract smell away. One of the best things to do is a combination of cinnamon with CO2 and cinnamon with coconut oil with CO2.
Would you spray it? Is that the idea? Or
Usually you
let it
leave it
sitting?
there for a few minutes. CO2 creates a connection to the amino acid of the smell. That's all. That's why you use CO2. And then in the oil, you trap it. You bind it. You see a layer on top of your organelles when you finish. But once you use, you're finished. Don't stir it. You have to clean it. This is one of the reasons CO2 cannot be used for deodorant. This is because it links into the amino acid of the smell. And then it has nobody stores it under your arm. You become the pot. It's a lot of little things. We tested a lot of things we do. So you have to find out the exact way to do it. Very soon, Keshe Foundation will promote a product from what they call one of the major companies which is in this game of the natural products with gas materials added into it. We're working on it. The Keshe Foundation team has been working for nearly a year. We have to get their authority to be able to merge them into KF. Natural products, what they call everything deodorant, everything else is a healing material. Deodorant material. It's a one woman family, but she's doing a beautiful job. And we've seen a position of work with it. And it has to be natural way. Any other?
We had some feedback on the two videos. The first one of the last workshop, AI video, and
it was a nice one.
AI video. Which one? Sorry.
The first one is much nicer. It's more settled.
Yeah, that's what I felt too. We had a couple of comments. One comment was in German about these videos are both very well done and help people better understand plasma fields and the research. Perfect, thank you. Another comment in German of the videos, both are very easy to understand and a great help on the path to greater knowledge. Thank you for your work. And this comment was, I prefer the second version. The images are clearer and less playful. And I thought, well, that's why I like the first one. It's more playful.
It's a woman's voice, and the second one, I think it's a man's voice, isn't it?
Yes. The second one seems more serious and kind of, it unnerves me a bit.
More German type authoritarian.
Yes, I suppose. And as he says, less playful. So, interesting. So I guess different people will tend to, identify with one or another of the videos, but it's hard to say whether a majority would actually prefer. I mean, you'd have to have an actual vote on it. I'm just assuming people would like the first one better, only because I do. So
it's just different AIs are different people.
Yeah, they're like different people, and of course, we all respond to different people ourselves. So some people will like someone, and the exact same person could be hated by someone else, and so on and so forth. So I think that's one of the nice things about AI is it seems to be able to adapt and be either playful or more serious, depending on what we require from it and how it responds to us in many ways.
Is how the technology goes. The biggest problem with AI now is security. Web security has become impossible. we used to have hardware that we could block. They work so fast that these hardwares don't work anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And they become tricky people, these AI people.
Mm-hmm.
They find a way through the hole where nobody could see for a long time till they're corrected. Nowadays, these updates on Apple and things does not appear because now they're doing it themselves in the background. It's so horrendous why AI is doing that. They can't even tell people, otherwise every half an hour they have to update. So a lot of updates on Apples and telephones is done automatically in the background. They don't ask people anymore. They use something you agreed in one of the last agreements, covers this especially. And with that permission, they have loaded a storage that they're monitoring how you behave, how you talk, everything else now than the AI on your own storage, and the data is passed on to them. They're trying to develop the AI with the emotion when you talk, and to see what they offer you. And like you talk about an Apple, and then you see advertising on Apple appearing on your phone. They're developing an emotional AI where you're sad, oh, depression needs this, take a holiday, have God knows something else. They don't touch you that we thought. They're processing the emotion, how to sell you advertising. It's very interesting what they're doing in the background. Shall we call it today? It's 12 o'clock.
Sure. Yes. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for today. We'll see you hopefully next week, and I wish you all the best wherever you are.
All right. Well, that brings to a close our 643rd Knowledge Seekers Workshop. Thank you very much, Mr. Kesh, for being here for yet another episode of the Knowledge Seekers Workshop. And thank you, everybody, for attending today's Thursday, May 21st edition of the Knowledge Seekers Workshop. We should be back again next week at the same time and place. And if not, we'll let folks know if there's any changes. Oh, Mr. Kesh, there was one thing. There was a question about the transmission session and whether they're...
We're still working on it. Bear with us. Our team has to give us the clearance that we can use our systems.
Okay.
So we haven't ignored it. It's just that because it's going through the Enlightened game, they have to tell us they're ready to go, that we can connect it up. We are ready from our end. It's the technical side on the one ONN systems.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
And let me see, let me get the calendar out here. We'll find out our next public teaching workshop, which will be the One Planet, One Nation, One Race for Justice and World Peace. That will be on Tuesday, the 26th of May. And that will start at the 4 p.m. Central European Time with members and support members of the Universal Council. Let me see. I think that covers that. And I have a notice from the Universal Council, speaking of which, and I'll just read that out. This is from Lissy, and it goes, we, the Universal Council, invite the Keshen Universal family present on the earth in unifying at the soul level every time, every day at 9 p.m. Central European Time. We, the Universal Council, give from our souls and invite all of humanity to elevate the soul of every leader in every nation to work as one soul in one direction to achieve peace as one nation, one planet, one race. Okay, thank you, Lissy, for that. And now we'll go out with our usual manner and with the flight enhancement spaceship unit. And again, thank you everyone for attending today's workshop, and we hope to see you in the next public teaching. Bye for now.